to Beyond the Veil with Adina. I'm Adina. Nice to meet you guys if you're here for the first time. And if you are not new around these parts, welcome back. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I'm so happy to see you on this day of Jupiter. Happy Thursday. Happy day of Jupiter to all of you guys. If this is your first time here, I am a medium and I do readings on this channel. So if that's not your thing, I invite you to leave peacefully so that you do not disturb or disrespect my community here. And if this is not your first time, well, if this is your first time, but you're not hostile to this type of thing, welcome. Welcome. I hope you find yourself amongst like minds and friends. To all of my blessed babies, regular viewers, subscribers, bush watchers, all of the above. Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday, Sissy. Happy Thursday, April. Woo woo. Happy day of Jupiter. Thank you, Sissy. Thank you very much. I can't see you, but I'm sure you look delicious as well. You too, April. Red bone, real thick. Okay. All right now. Hey, MC. How you doing? I'm so happy to see you guys. You put a smile on my heart. All of you guys just make my heart blush. So, how did I get here to the thumbnail and the topic that I chose for today? Well, let me tell you how I got here. Oh, yeah. Members, sorry that I stood you guys up on the members live, but let me tell you what happened. I ended up having a consultation and it wore me out. I gave my all. I put my all into that consultation. I read the fuck down. Okay. And by the time I was done, all I could do was finish my kava and crash. So forgive me, please. However, I was plotting and planning in my mind this morning at the gym my schedule of ceremonies for this weekend. I am a woo lady for those of you guys who don't know. And for those of you guys who think I only do woo when I offer group ceremonies, that's not true. I do woo every goddamn day. There's a woo to be done and a will to be forced every goddamn day. And so, and well, not every day, all the time, but for the most part, most of the week. And so I put a schedule of ceremonies together for myself, and I was thinking about February coming up, and I mentioned that I might offer a group Venus ceremony. But then my spirit said, because I'm not doing the traditional Venus ceremony, tomorrow on the day of Venus, I am doing a vixen ceremony for myself. And we work with the energies of Venus, but it's not my quintessential Venus ceremony that's supposed to bring romance and suitors and all of that. I mean, it does, but it's not for romance and finding love and things like that, but it does work with the energy of Venus. It's more like a goddess ritual, more like anyways. And so I was thinking, well, that made me think about February and how people usually celebrate Valentine's Day and the season of love. Um, Oh no, Spirit said, tell them about the Vixen ceremony and what it is, because it is a service that I offer on my service list. So the Vixen ceremony is when you kind of want to feel empowered. Think Bill Keast from American Gods if you're a woman, and think, I don't know, who's a really fierce and fly and rich and powerful and dominating gay male. When I think about the vixen ceremony for a man, I think of um what's the guy who hosts all the Bravo shows? Andy Cohen. That's that's if you're a gay male, but if you're a straight male, the vixen ceremony works in the same way, but it kind of brings out the really powerful, dominating, attractive, that raw energy that you have in you that just makes you irresistible so you can have your way and get what you want, whatever you want, including, the things that you didn't even know you wanted, but you might enjoy it if you get it. It makes you really attractive, or it helps bring attractability in your life, and it makes you a force. It brings out your kind of God energy that we all have. And so confidence and all of those things, it kind of just makes you a force so that you attract whatever you want and you have your way. And I also put a little domination in there so that, everyone who you encounter turns into your yes man. hmm No nos. We don't like no nos with the vixen ceremony. So it made me think about that type of energy in comparison to what I like to call the Eve energy that most people look forward to when they get Venus work or love work done. And then I thought about Clarissa Shields. So I'm gonna do Clarissa Shields, but I think I'm gonna be using her as an example because I am going to get a message from the divine about love and relationships. And a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I work with, have been come to me because they are trying to date and having issues finding suitable suitors. And the things that I see when I do the consultations vary, but one of the cards that come out often, and almost all of them, including for myself, is the Justice card. Justice is adjustments. And so I think collectively, when you are looking to date in a healthy way or the right way, you may experience a lag either in dating period or suitable daters that you come across. And I kind of want to get a message from the divine about the people that are kind of looking to date or looking for love and see what that energy is like on a mass scale for the collective, so to speak, for humanity. My roots are Unique's. Is it Unique or Unique's? Anyways, we'll start with Clarissa Shields. Now, Clarissa Shields is a GOAT, the greatest of all time, female boxer, I believe. I don't know if that's on record or if that's just up for debate, but she is a champion, or I guess since Layla Ali is retired, she is the GOAT, the champion female boxer, woman boxer. And she's currently in a relationship with a man named Papoose. He used to be a rapper, and then he got into a relationship and got married to another rapper named Remy Ma. And then they became the poster for Black Love, and then they broke up, and then they each got with somebody else. Well, shout out to Nigeria. Eh, shout out to Nigeria. My brother, have you come bearing blessings of suya and agusi and fufu for me? Because I like it. It's heavy on the suya. Because you can sip your little cocktail and just bite the little suya off the toothpick. I'm a suya girl because it's a vibe. Anyways, and because it's the first African dish that I learned how to make. So shout out to Nigeria. Hey, Philip. So that's just to let you guys know. And yes, Papoose and Remy Ma are still legally married. But I guess that doesn't matter these days anymore, right? Everybody be legally married and starting whole new families. I ain't like them though. I was divorced before I let another lover touch me. I lied, I wasn't. But God damn it, it was 2 years separated, and the man was trying to hold me hostage in the marriage, and I said, screw that. Thank you, Philip. No, I lied. I take that back. I let that Nigerian man touch all over me. If it wasn't for him, I might have still been stuck, too scared to make a move to get out of that situation. And I was separated for 2 years before that happened. So he gave me the push that I needed. Shoot. Shout out to Nigeria. He came into my life and I said, courthouse, let me get them papers about you. I didn't do it for him. We were just friends, but I did it because it just happened at the right timing. Um, anyways, so no, actually, I had already initiated it before I let another man touch me. And my husband act like he was okay with the simplified dissolution, meaning we both were going to sign off on it, and that was us agreeing. And he got them papers and ain't sent nothing back. I let it go for 30 days, and then almost 2 months in, I called and was like, "What you doing?" And he was like, "I don't think we should do this. I think we should." And I said, the ninja, it's been almost 2 years. I mean, if you don't unhand me, then he'd be like, "All right, fine, fuck it, Dina, fine, fuck it, I'ma sign him." And then another 3 or so months would go by, and then for a while, I did it. I went along with trying to be nice, and then I just one day I said, you know what? I just got to do it. I just got to go down to the courthouse and do it myself. So I refiled the other type of divorce and had him served since he wouldn't do the simplified dissolution. And then that was that. So don't never let nobody trick y'all into believing. I don't know if it's the same state for everybody because this was Florida. But don't let nobody trick y'all into thinking that somebody is holding them up in a divorce, because that's if you're trying to do like a simplified delusion, if you guys are trying to agree to everything before you file, meaning everything is hashed out, and then you guys both sign off on everything that you hashed out, and then you send the paperwork in, and then the judge practically just signs off on it. But if somebody is not willing to sign, then you go and then you have them served. Okay? You have to take out an ad in the newspaper in the county that you guys got married in. You go and you file the paperwork that comes with the servation from the sheriff. And then you file and you sit back and wait on that bitch to be served and sign. Okay? That's what happens. So, yeah. If they held up, they want to be. And I mean anybody. If they held up, it's because they want to be, or because they don't want the judge to determine who gets what. So they're going to try to fight it out until somebody relents. That's the only other thing. And I think that may be what Cardi B is doing, because both of them, I think Offset isn't willing to give any concessions, and neither is Cardi. So, but even then, I think Cardi feels like if she just takes it to court, Offset, the judge is going to grant Offset some money because she went and had a baby. And it doesn't matter who cheated first. In the court of law, that's a tangible outcome to the fact that she cheated. Rumors be damned. That baby makes it real. And so that's why I think both of them are pussyfooting around, because if she just forced it, she gonna pay. So she might be trying to find some kind of pressure to put on Offset, or a loophole or something. Because if he's petty and say, I was under the impression that we were still, trying to work out whatever, issues we had. We were still married. We were still having sex. And then they had just had Blossom. So the fact that they had just had a baby, so he can say we were still sexually active with each other when she went and had this baby. Oh, So that's why they ain't divorced yet, because Cardi's saying it's because Offset won't sign. Yeah, but you also won't have him forced into the divorce because you could. But you know, I said this before. I read her and I said, "Oh, you gonna have a problem with Offset?" Yeah, because you done got pregnant by that man. This is before she came out pregnant. Anyways, so Clarissa Shields, she's in a interesting situation. Yep, because Offset is gonna be like, we were still together, we were still intimate. Our child is just a few months older than the child she had with this man. So yes, we were still intimate and all this other stuff. And an Oprah reading, sure. Okay. Is it Camila or Camila? Yes, I'll do it after I wrap up what I was doing here, if I'm not facing starvation. So Clarissa is with Papoose, and he's still legally married to Remy Ma, who also, actually, let me remind everybody, because I know y'all salivate over Clarissa Shade, but nobody knew that Remy Ma and Papoose were this far into their rift until Remy Ma came out with that interesting looking man, her mister. She had a mister, and she came out first. And I think everybody was looking like, wait, what? Where Papoose? And at the time, I think Papoose was still at the house, being real tender. Because I think he was tender. I think he tender when it comes to certain women. Remy, yeah, because they had a history. But Remy was outside, deep voice battle rapping with the men, with her man. Close your eyes and you don't know which one it is. One of the thugs or Remy, just real masculinity with her mister, though. And then Papoose stepped out with a mistress. And then all of a sudden, y'all start tearing that lady down, that mistress down. And y'all say it's because Remy's mister was quiet. But is it quiet when they stepped out first with the married woman? That's loud as fuck. That's loud as fuck because they introduced them not being together. Remy and her mister. I saw it. I saw it in real time. And then Papoose stepped out with his mistress, and everybody had a fit. The women had a fit. It ain't the men. The men ain't saying nothing. It's the women's, because the women's is triggered by that situation. So I get it. But come on now, how we found out about them not being together? Because of Remy and Remden, whatever his name is. It's the ghetto, JD. The ghetto. Ay, Dios mío. So, anyways, and so Clarissa Shields is the butt of all jokes because the women in the Black community don't like her being with Remy Ma's husband. But funny, I didn't remember everybody standing for Remy like this. You guys, I'm 38. So when Remy Ma was in the peak of her career before she got locked up, she didn't have all this stanergy. That's standing and energy mixed together. She didn't have all this energy when she had the black hairdo with the blonde bang, the blonde bang. She didn't have all that energy. In fact, you guys were saying things about her. I remember what y'all was saying, but I'm not gonna bring them up because I don't want to fight. I don't want to shoot or fight at neither one of these holes involved in this triangle. Even though I stay strapped. So country kind of strapped though. That mean ain't just one little nine off in here. It's some artillery off in here. Some of it rusted because it was my granddaddy's. But listen, if you get shoot with a rusted gun, you're gonna catch gangrene. If you survive the shot, you're gonna catch gangrene. So we keep that on deck too. Hello from Russia. So yes, artillery, because it's a couple of them in here, and some of them big, some of them little. My go-to, my favorite is that big 4-5. Now, most girls, they like that little 9, the little cute 9 with the little pink or pearl handle. No, 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 no. I like to walk up on you like a sheriff, like a whole damn sheriff. Walk up real slow. Hello there. Good afternoon. What you fellas doing out here on my porch? Yes, big, bulky. Can't even hide it if I wanted to. But that's just my preference. All right. So, anyways, so let's just get into the Clarissa of things because I came here today in this in the season. We are approaching the season of lovers. And the lover girls, and all the girls are lover girls, but Clarissa is the loverest girl of them all right now. And so I wanted, and after I finish with her, I am going to kind of look and see what the energy of love and romance is as a whole for humanity. Because everybody wants love in their life. But these days, since I keep getting the justice card for everybody I read looking for love, and I got it for myself. Oh, thank you, chicken biscuits. How about we DoorDash some good stuff and go nap again? Again, I didn't nap with you before. Thank you for that $5, but don't say again. Don't be making people think we just woke up together. You didn't just wake up with me, honey, because if you did, you'd still be asleep. And you wouldn't be needing a DoorDash because you'd be good and fed. But thank you for the coin. Too bad my sniper got you and deleted you after you gave $5. Lord, April waited till that man hit tap on his Apple Pay. And as soon as she seen that door, delete. But the money went through though, but delete. I told y'all, don't play when April is in the chat. Y'all can play with almost any other mod but April. And you walking on a thin line with JD. Thank you for your donation. Now get the fuck out. Yeah, honey. You wouldn't be hungry if you woke up with me. From a nap or anything. Anyways, so Clarissa, I did read Papoose before. Somebody asked me, I think it was in a What's Chap, and I did read him. And you know, let's just say I feel that one party is more invested than the other. Ain't April fine as hell? You seen her? Wait till you see her body though, because she don't show her body. In April, they talk about you, girl. OTG for life said April fine ass. See, you can only see her face, but I done seen a pic. I done seen her whole body, and she fine and thick too. She thick. She is. She is. And listen, it's all them, everybody in here fine. I ain't seen all y'all, but the ones I seen, everybody nice and fine. Sissy with the girlies. Okay, JD with the girlies. April got girlies too. Everybody got girlies but me. But be careful though, because she fine and mean, like a red bone. Yes, fine and mean. You got to walk light with that one. She a Aries. Yeah, that's why she act like that. Shout out to the Aries. I have a stellium in Aries. Jupiter in Aries, Moon in Aries, North Node in Aries. I have asteroids in Aries. I also have a stellium in Libra. So I'm on this axis, just like the Libra that I am, the Libra sun. All my stelliums are on their sister side, on their polarity. Just balanced like a motherfucker. That's why these men don't deserve me like they deserve Clarissa, because I'm too balanced, too healthy. Okay. True, you lost your girlies? Let me see. Let me be the judge of that. I'd like to be the judge of if you lost those girls or not. I don't believe it. Let me see. Oh, April, thank you. Y'all fine like y'all birth mamas. I can't take credit for that. It's okay. Listen, you know what? But true, we love you just the same. Because if you guys love me with my beak ups that I've had since I was a teenager, because oh how thy would love to fulfill a full C cup. But dost the gods vex me with small, dirty pillows, as they call them in the movie Carrie? Dost the gods curse me, chastise me with meager B cups? Meager B cups. No, Camila, that's a no. When I read Pap in this situation, no, I got the Seven of Swords. And they be getting love too. My ex husband used to say it's just enough for a mouthful. Listen, my ex husband was a G. He couldn't keep his mouth off any of my. Sorry, but he was good for that. He couldn't keep his mouth off any part. He would just, if he could just chew me from head to toe, he could and tried to. So yeah, shout out to my ex husband for that because he had weaknesses, but he had strengths. Yes, he loved. I just used to sit there nursing him sometimes, like, boy, if you don't get off. And his mama, because he was a baby and the only boy, so his mama used to tell me, you know, he a titty baby now. Yeah, his mama used to tell me that he a titty baby. I used to have to force him off my titties. I had to force him off me. And he definitely was. He definitely was. But what his mama didn't know, or what she later found out, was that he was everything. He couldn't get off of everything. It wasn't just the boobs. And I told her, I said, I did tell her one day, I said, Miss Wanda, your son a eater. Why we divorced? Sure, I told this story a long time ago because I know I speak highly of him. And I'm not a bitter girl. We served our purpose, and because he decided that one day, after at that time it was 12 years, he was like, you know what, I don't know if I want to be married anymore. I think I need time to find myself. And it had already been weird for about a year and a half, but he kept telling me that I was crazy and I was tripping, but he was never home. He got a second job, so he said, so he would leave his school board job and then go work his night job. But I remember his 12-year-old, his 12-year-old nephew used to spend the night with me, and he used to be like, Auntie, where Uncle Terry? And I'd be like, you know, he at work. His nephew said, really? At work? I was like, oh, oh. But yeah, he started checking out about a year and a half before he finally said he needs some space. And I was like, space? Ninja, it's been 12 years. What you mean? And so it devastated me. I didn't know what space meant, but the next day when he went to work, I didn't say a word. He left for work that morning. I packed up all my shit and quietly left. And he came home and only his stuff was in the house. And my stuff was gone and I was gone. And he called and was like, the fuck you at? And I said, I'm gone. And he was like, okay. And yeah, he was like, okay. And yeah, I said, okay. I'm not the type to, I always told him, I ain't gonna never leave you. I'll get through, I can get through anything. When I decided to marry him, I said, you ain't gotta worry about me going nowhere. We can get through anything. As long as you want to get through things with me, then I'm willing to get through it too. So don't worry about it. As long as you 10 toes in, I'm 10 toes in too. But when he said he wanted space, and I always said the only way I'll leave you is if you don't want to do this no more, because I'm not gonna force nobody or beg nobody. I respect your decision, no matter how much it hurt. So I respected it a whole lot. I left quietly, and for the first 3 months, he was outside, living the life of a bachelor. His twin nephews moved in, they was 19, they was living the life of a bachelor. This was like in March of 2019. In July was coming up, 4th of July. I was planning to go down to Palm Beach, and we were living in Fort Lauderdale. I planned to go down to Palm Beach for my relative's annual 4th of July party. And I was telling him that I was gonna come down there, um, so we can link back up because it had been 3 months and we had never been apart that long. And I was like, all right, well, you didn't have 3 months, party's over. And but I wasn't planning on forcing myself back. We were just gonna link up. I was like, I want you to come to my people house and da 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 da. And so he was like, okay, bet. And I made the joke. I was like, all right, when I come back, I'm bringing all my stuff back and I'm coming home. And this man said, why would you do that? He said it just like that. Why would you do that? Why would you be so selfish? And that hurt me just like the day that he said he wanted space and that hurt me again because I was actually kidding. But when he said that, it was like, selfish, Nick, my name is on the deed. That is my motherfucking house, first of all. I'm being cute with you, but if I really wanted to, yes, I don't have to leave. I don't have to give you your space. Your name on the deed, my name on the deed. Don't play with me. But like I said, I got too much pride for that. So I was hurt. But, anyways, I went down there, had a blast with my family. He showed up at the last minute of the event when everybody was drunk, passed out. And the plan was for me to go back to our house with him, and I was just going to spend the night with him and, whoop de whoop de whoop, because that's still my husband. We've only been separated for 3 months. When I got back into the house, because I'm a spiritual girl, it's like when I stepped across the threshold into the house, the way I felt like a stranger in that house. First of all, it was this big ass speaker, right? In the, like a big, almost floor to ceiling speaker. And it just felt empty. It felt empty. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like my home. I felt like I wanted to leave. And I had been there for 10 years. I felt like I wanted to leave. I just felt weird. Everything was just weird. It looked like a bachelor pad. And I was like, the fuck you been doing? Like, this ain't even you. This ain't even you. You don't even hang out. You're a nerd. You go to work and come home and hang out with your sisters and your family and stuff. So I knew that his nephews were there, but I sat on the couch and some girl came out the guest room. Now, that room used to be he turned it into a salon room for me and he built me a shoe case, a glass shoe case. So that was my salon room, I called it. And I used to entertain the girls in that room. We'd have brunch and stuff and we'd shoot the shits in that room. It was a girl's room. Some girl walked out, and I knew his nephews were sleeping in there, but some girl walked out, and I was like, who the fuck are you? And she told me her name, and I figured she was one of his nephew's little bops. But like, this is my house. Like, this is not how I run shit here. And so I immediately just felt like she obviously has this her house. This ain't my house no more. So my husband, we sat down and we chilling, and the neighbor called me on his phone. She didn't have my number, so she called me on his phone because she saw me walking into the house, and she ain't seen me for 3 months. And we family too. I've been there for 13 years, so I'm family on the block because he was born and raised on that neighborhood. So they family, I'm family. So she called me and was like, what you doing? Come cross the street. We done cooked this 4th of July. I got a bottle. Bubba bringing some weed. I'm finna roll up. You know what I'm saying? Come cross the street. So I was like, bet, I'm coming. I'm coming. And then he got a beep on his phone. So I was like, you got a beep. He was like, don't worry about it. Something in my spirit, though, said, why you got this phone? Find out why your husband wanted some space from you. Because y'all been together for 12 years. Y'all been together since y'all was 19 years old. And here we are in our 30s. And you talking about you want some space? I ain't never went through his phone in my whole entirety of being together. I'm not that type of bitch. But Spirit said, find out why your husband want to separate. Why he wanted space from you. So I went into stealth mode while I still had the phone in my hand, and he wasn't paying attention. He told me, don't worry about who was calling. I stood up real slow and bolted to the bathroom. I bolted to the bathroom and locked the door really quickly because I knew he was going to be hot on my heels, and he was. He was. Not my ex-husband was a big nigga. He's a big, 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 big nigga. Okay. I didn't marry him for his attractions. I married him because he was a good man, Savannah. So he was a big one. And he was banging on that door. I knew I only had this amount of time to find what I was looking for because he was going to kick that bitch down. He was going to kick it down. It was doom, doom. I was like, I wasn't scared he was going to put his hands on me. If anything, I was the hands putter on her. But but I knew if he got a hold of that phone, I wasn't going to be able to keep it from him. Shoot, he's strong. So I went to scrolling through the messages. Fuck the calls. I'm scrolling through the messages. And surprisingly, I actually had to scroll for a little bit. So I was like, what the fuck is wrong with him then? What is Then I saw a message that said, good morning, beautiful. No, it said, good morning, beautiful lady, or pretty lady. And that's what he used to say to me. And he used to call me pretty lady. Pretty lady. What's up, pretty lady? In his Lauderdale voice. What's up, pretty lady? I was like, it was right. I was scrolling so fast. And I was like, I found it. I found the thread that's going to give me. And it was from it was from March. And that's when we separated. And so I was like, okay, it was a reason that he wanted me to get out. And I had asked him, I was like, is it like, I asked him before we got to that point because I felt him slipping away. And I was like, listen, what is it? I know we've been together for well over a decade. We were kids when we got together. We grown. We're all we know. You didn't really have a dating history. You was fresh out of high school. I was fresh out of high school. You had a high school girlfriend. And so like, and we never had any breakups in between then. We were together the whole 12, 13 years before we separated. So I was like, I get it. I get it. If you are coming into a new version of yourself, an adult version of yourself, and you feel like I never did, get to do that whole dating, being outside, and me being the logical Libra that I am, who I can put my emotions to the side, and that's why Libras make good partners and when they're highly evolved because we'll be like, okay, let me reason with you and understand where you are in life so that I can meet you halfway if I can. And that's where I was. And since we had been together so long, I was like, you want to go fuck somebody? Okay, do it. Because we had been together so long, I didn't think my husband was going to want to leave. I was just like you want to, I'll find you a bitch because I know I got better taste than you. I seen the girls that you used to think was cute, and I was always like, mm-mm, mm-mm. That one, not that one, okay, not that one, but that one. So what you want? I was like, you want me to bring us a bitch? And I was willing to do anything he needed. I was open to it. I was open to it. I really was. For my husband, absolutely. So he always used to say, man, you tripping, you crazy, you tripping, you just always did it, you just imagining stuff and trying to play me like I didn't like, and I'm not even tripping, I'm not nagging, I'm saying, listen, I feel this, I see this, and in a year or two, we might not be together because I feel you slipping away and I can see it happening. So tell me where you are so I can meet you there. But he wasn't man enough to be honest. So back to the bathroom. I see that, hey, pretty lady. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's see if this bitch is pretty. That's my actual thought. This bitch better not be ugly. Like the other bitches he think is cute because don't play with me. You got all your friends salivating over me and y'all ninjas do the worst. And so I'm scrolling, I'm reading the messages. He's charming her up. But I'm noticing that that "Hey Pretty Lady" never got responded to, which is why that's how the message showed up in his messages, because she never responded to that. So I was just like, I'm scrolling up, not down. I have to scroll up because his message to her was the last response. And I'm noticing that he's messaging her for a while and she wasn't responding. Then I noticed where she kind of got slow with her response. And then I get to the top where they're in full swing of responses. So I can tell that she kind of ghosted him. So now I'm intrigued. And I can see how that happened because I'm thinking they probably screwed each other and she saw his package and didn't want to circle the block. Because to be honest, like I said, he had talents, strengths, and he had weaknesses. So I honestly wasn't surprised when I saw the ghosting from her because I was like, oh, they probably fucked. And yeah, y'all be wanting what another woman got, but don't know what she willing to put up with out of love and duty and honor and respect. But don't think I ain't being a dutiful wife over here. And it's just all pleasure and passion all the time, honey. I am a dutiful good woman. Okay? And not for any other reason other than I'm just a good woman. Fuck y'all thought. So I was like, okay, they probably fucked. And she didn't want, there wasn't no reason to go back except head. And everybody got head in Lauderdale and Miami and South Florida. Everybody a munch down there and they like it. So it's better when they like it. All the ninjas in South Florida, they proud munches. Proud. They've been that way since the days of Trick Daddy. He made them proud to be a munch. And so they all like that. So I know that. So that's when I got to the tea. And let me just say that based on what I saw, I walked out of that bathroom after he was banging on it. I politely unlocked the door, opened it, handed him his phone, walked right past him, out the door, across the street to my neighbor house. And when I opened that front door and walked out, do you guys know what happened? Because it was the 4th of July, but it was in the daytime. The sun was still out. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock. The biggest firework display went off right over my head that I've ever seen. And I looked up and said, I heard y'all petty ass spirits. God damn. Because they knew that based on what I saw, I wasn't coming back. And the way, as soon as I stepped out of that house and closed the door, boom, pow, boom, boom, blow, blow. People usually save that kind of firework display for nighttime. No, it was broad daylight. Boom, boom, pow. And I couldn't do nothing but just stop and look up because I knew spirits was celebrating. And I was like, why the fuck are y'all celebrating my pain? And it was the worst weekend of my adult life. But ironically, I had such a good time because my family is such a vibe. And so when I got back to my family, they had rented this Sprinter van. We was on our way to South Beach. They put a cooler in a Sprinter van full of liquor. I mean, listen, I barely remember the painful part because I was so numb. Me and my mom had a hotel room on the beach. It literally was like, there's our room, there's the strip on A1A, and then there was the beach. And then our room, my bed was facing this complete window, and right in front of me was the fucking beach. So I didn't have to get out of the bed. As soon as I opened my eyes in the morning on my pillow, there was the sun rising on the Atlantic Ocean. And then the room had a patio. And so, mind you, this is on South Beach on the strip. So we're right there where there are restaurants and stuff. So I could walk out of my room, walk the strips, go and get a drink, cross the highway, walk to the beach. And it was really like I had such a good time. And Spirit really looked out for me that weekend because it was devastating what I saw. Devastating. And I haven't felt that kind of pain since the betrayal of my ex best friend, Natasha, who I'll spend the rest of my life punishing. But listen, So, Camila, that's how I left. That's how I ended up getting divorced. And we actually, this happened in 2019. The divorce wasn't even finalized, signed, sealed, delivered until October 2022 because I was so stuck and traumatized for the first 6 months. I left Fort Lauderdale. I was living back in my hometown for the first time since I left from high school. It was I couldn't even believe this was my life and it happened so suddenly. I was like my friends, my life, my business, my everything is there. Like I was numb. I literally I didn't even I was numb. I was numb for that first 6 months. I had lost so much weight. It was so sad. It was so sad. And on top of that, I was still trying to be nice to him because I know that what I saw on his phone, what I found out probably traumatized him just as much as it traumatized me. But because I considered us family, we had been together since we were kids, which is why I can still speak highly of my marriage because it wasn't a bad marriage until he got tired of being married. For the biggest part, man, we was ace boon coon. That was my dog. That was my dog. We partied together. We hung together. It was lit. We grew up together in the heyday of our 20s. So it was a great time. And he still is a good person. He's not a bad person. He's not a bad man. I actually thought after we separated that I would still be able to cheer him on. Like I felt like when he had kids, because I felt like, okay, now you can go and be with somebody, if you choose to. I was like, if you get married again, I'm gonna send a gift, all that stuff. Like I had, I was willing to overlook the pain that I felt when I found out where he really was in within himself. It hurt like hell, but it was something that I felt like, you know what? You right. You right. Let's just go. You right. You need to find yourself. And what happened was after I got unstuck, because this happened in March, the my finality happened in July. October is when I start working at Lockheed again because I worked there before in my earlier years. He actually worked there too. We both lived in Ocala together. But I ended up meeting a new group of friends there, and they used to say things like, why are you still stuck like this? Like, and we would still talk on the phone. I was acting as if what I saw I didn't see. That's how traumatizing it was. I couldn't even accept what my eyes saw. And somehow my mind kind of just resorted back to my comfort zone. So when he start and after that, that's when he decided he didn't want to be separated no more. He wanted me back bad after the 4th of July when I was done. And so we ended up talking on the phone again as friends, but that didn't happen until like a month after the 4th of July because he couldn't talk to me. He wouldn't respond to my messages. I actually reached out to him 2 weeks after that event took place on 4th of July. And I said, listen, we don't have to talk anything about what happened on the 4th of July, anything about that. I'm only reaching out because I'd like to discuss how we're going to move forward from here, because we have to figure out how we're going to handle things. And, I'm not in the spirit to be messy or bitter. So when you feel like it, call me so that we can hash out some details. I didn't owe him that. I did not owe him that. But I'm a good woman, Savannah. And I was like, listen, I can't even hate you. I just have to focus on healing because that's all I can do. All I can do is focus on picking myself up and moving forward. That's it. And I don't have the strength in me to even be bitter. I didn't have the strength in me to be bitter. I was too traumatized. I was too numb. And then it almost seemed, and then Spirit sent a beautiful, a beautiful Nigerian man into my life. And God knows, I was not looking because I was completely set on being a divorced woman until the day I die. Because of the trauma, I was just like, I'm not bitter towards love. Love is a beautiful thing, but I didn't feel like anybody would honor me the way I honored relationships. So I just didn't want to put myself in the position. I was like, y'all can have it. You people can have it because I move a different way. And I was willing to take that marriage to my death, good, bad, and ugly. And so, even, good, bad, and ugly. I was really unsatisfied in that marriage sexually, but it is what it is. I love my husband. He's a good man. And that's what matters in life is that you. And so I was just like, I am never, not because I'm bitter, but because I don't want nobody to ever be able to hurt me like that again or play with me like that again when I know if I'm committed, you got it. You got me. Ride or die. I got your back, whatever, whatever. And it's, whatever you need. So I just was like, you know what, y'all got this. Everybody else can go enjoy what I had in my heyday, and I'll just live in the memory of what we had for the bulk of when we were together. But then Spirit said, girl, you ain't slept with nobody and been satisfied for well over a decade, and you are human. You've been sexually unsatisfied. I'm buffering. Y'all back? Can you hear me now? For over a decade. And you can't stay in this rut. And so there was a man who came along and inspired life into me. And then here I am. Somebody says it's buffering. Can you guys hear me? I'll wait until somebody tells me that you can hear me. Oh, okay. You said yes. Okay, 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 okay. All right. So Clarissa Shields. That was the long version of, and there was no simplified way to answer Camila's question. But I I never mind telling my own story because that's how, life is for lessons. And fortunately, I learned and grew from them so I can pass them on. You guys don't see the defeated version of me, so I don't mind telling about how I was in a battle because I've overcome it. So that's how I ended up divorced. I stood on business. That's kind of the short version. So, Clarissa, which is a good way to segue into this because love is in the air is the topic. And to be honest, love isn't always fairy tales. And I think because after I read Clarissa, I was going to get a message from the divine. And I think that was a message or a good example of the message. But I'll circle back to that after Clarissa. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Clarissa Shields. It's literally on the tip of my tongue. And I know you guys have heard it before, but to be honest, you have not found a love that is true and genuine to who you are at the moment until you know who you are at the moment. And the ones who are fortunate find someone who, at every stage of growth, that person grows with them. So they never become unequally yoked. Because spiritually, that's what happened with me and my ex husband. I was growing spiritually and he was checking out because of that. The way I was moving, the way I was valuing myself. I had started a business for the first time after only nobody in his family, nobody in my family had done that. So he starts saying things like I was intimidating and I didn't understand it as red flags then, but as an adult woman now, I do understand the shift. And that happened actually when spiritually I started evolving, and that coincided with me materially evolving. Because that woman that he was speaking with, She was a bus driver that worked at his job. And I thought, a bus driver? Now she wasn't the reason. That's she wasn't the reason I walked out of that house that day and never looked back. It was the exchange I saw between them. Mind you, I said she started ghosting him too. And I'll just let that sit. Clarissa Shields. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Clarissa Shields. When I read Papoose, this was his outcome. Somebody asked me this, Camila asked me if Papoose really loves her, and I said no. And I said it's because I read him before. This was the outcome. And I said he may eventually end up cheating. In this regards, I think the cheating is emotional more so than it is physical. It's the going back and forth to his old situation that's still messy. He's still emotionally attached to a situation. And I think that because I think that's Remy's strategy. I think Remy woke up one day and said, I don't want Papoose back, but I know I can fuck with that girl and, you know, F up their situation if I want to. And I think she does. I think she woke up one day and decided to try to, talk nice to Papoose. And he thought, ooh. And then after that, she got back on her bully-ish, but by then, she got him back under her spell. Isn't Remy a Gemini? I definitely believe she has Papoose under my control. Definitely. My ex-husband was a Gemini. I used to call Gemini Sour Patch Kids because they could be so, so super sweet, but after they were sour first. All right, Clarissa Shields, you're in a relationship, you're in love. We're approaching Valentine's Day, and when I thought about Valentine's Day and the Venus vixen ceremony that I'm doing for myself tomorrow, for some reason I thought about you. Because the vixen ceremony that I'm doing tomorrow is completely opposite of the type of Venusian energy that Clarissa is in. It's way more empowered. And then I just thought, okay, well, let me read Clarissa. So Clarissa Shields. Please allow me to conjure up Clarissa's spirit, soul, and collective energy and compel her to speak to me from her soul's truth, keeping absolutely nothing hidden from me. I don't need the cards to read this young lady, but I'm going to use them to give you guys visuals as we go along and examples of the things that come up. But she's so childlike in her nature, and I don't want to call her slow or touched. So I say childlike. There's a very childlike naivety about her. Clarissa, didn't she just ink a very lucrative deal? You know, Clarissa, for the first time, possibly in her life, is looking good, feeling good, her money's good. She's feeling good right now. She's feeling herself. Her money is good, for sure. Her money is good. So let's start there for the haters in the back. Just kidding. Not really. Because nobody should be hating this lady who she didn't beat up. Them the only people that need to hate her is the people who lent their energy to her clean record of not ever being knocked out. So her money's good. She's feeling herself. I think she's been feeling like she's been looking the best she ever has. And according to the general public, they can see that. They can see that she probably is dressing up for the first time because the general public thinks that she still needs help in that department. In my opinion, sure. But girl, I see you. I see the progress, and that's all I care about. She's feeling good, so I'm not going to tell her anything about anything cuz the lady feels good. She feels like she looks good, her money's good. And as a woman who's been through a lot, you're not going to find me trying to take any joy away from her. Mm-mm. And I ain't saying that because in a fist fight, she would beat me up because we wouldn't get that far. Everyone loves me. But no, I'm not on the Clarissa hate train because I'm not invested into any of these celebrity relationships. I've watched after she became more known because I did not know about her until she became known to the social media world. I went back and watched some of her fights, and I stand for her in that regard. What is past tense of stand? I stood for her. I was just catching up on watching her beat up bitches from left and right and just watching her sell it. I stood for her in the most standing way. I stood for her as a boxer, and I chose to respect her for her accomplishments. I don't give a fuck about that other stuff. I was like, oh, that's what she's famous for? Oh, hell yeah. Hells yeah. Right on. So this tells me that Clarissa is looking and feeling good, and despite the critiques anyone else might have, she feels like she's feeling good right now. Clarissa also knows that she is buttering bread right now. And I think she just might be childlike enough to take that as a big up of herself. Like, I got so much clout and so much money that bitches might be trying to leech off of me just so that they can get their bills paid. Like, some people are so naive that they can deflect, and not just deflect, but turn every critique of them into a positive when it should just stop at being a negative. They'll take a negative and, cut some cloth off, pin some buttons onto it, and boom, it's a whole new situation. She hears what people are saying about Remy and Papoose smooching off of her. But imagine if she feels like I'm the kind of bitch that a bitch could smooch off of. And the rest of y'all too broke for somebody to mooch off of y'all. So let this lady be. Sissy, that is not, listen, this is how she feels about herself right now. So let her. Let her. Let her. Don't rain on her parade. Challenge, though, is not being in denial. This is a card of denial. I used to pull this for Natasha all the time, for those of y'all who remember Natasha, my ex best friend who will suffer for the rest of her life. I used to get this all the time because she was delusional, a delusional ass Scorpio who chose delusion because she just needed to feel love in any way that she could, and the way that she could was sex. She would literally, no, literally, I'm using an example, meet a man. The man came by to mow her yard. Her daddy sent a lawn man to mow her yard, and she thought he was cute because he flirted with her like all lawn men, weed men, and the car detailing men do. They flirt. That night, she was at his crib, get knocked down. The next, I say 48 hours later, she was asking me to read to see what would come of that situation if they'd end up in a relationship. And she did this with every man. But all I would ever see is, Natasha, these men are only with you because you was a bop. And some of them were from her neighborhood and knew she was and was talking about her, and they was telling each other when they would sleep with her. And then another one would come for his turn. And I would get this for her all the time because she knew. She knew. She was messing with this man who was living with his baby mama that he had been with for 10 years. And word was, when I read, they showed up as married. I would say, Natasha, just look up their marriage license. And she would say she hadn't, but I think she did. He was telling her, oh, we ain't together like that. We just stay together. And I was like, when I read him all the time, the Empress, the Hierophant, the Emperor, the Empress and the Emperor just gives baby mama, baby daddy. But that Hierophant in the middle and them living together and being together for 10 years, that's married. They're married, Natasha. And because he's a hoe and tricking on his wife, he gonna tell Natasha with her gullible ass anything she wanted to hear. Oh, we just stay together. We ain't together like that. But him and her can't be seen together in daytime. They got the creep. He don't talk to her after a certain time. Holidays, yes, he with his family. I remember she was so heartbroken. I don't remember what holiday that was. He told her he was gonna spend it with her and ghosted her. And I was like, I'm looking at her like, Natasha. And I told y'all I end up stopped reading for her because I got tired of her. I got tired of this coming up, and this was denial. So I was like, I'm not finna keep telling you stuff that you know, but you willfully. So this is denial, but this is when you actually know. But in reverse, this is you know. But in her case, since it's in the challenging position, it's willful denial and what I like to call willful ignorance. This is denial, like, okay, it's not that, like, no, no, no. But this is just like, no, it's that, but and this is why this made me think of her feeling like, so I gotta I can I think she would prefer being a sugar mama to him than not being with him at all. In her mind, he's getting a divorce. And there's just some complications. It's just not that easy, like she said recently when he was getting interviewed on the Breakfast Club, but she spoke up on behalf of his situation. This is what she told herself. It's complicated. It's not just that easy, but that situation is in the past. So in her mind, that situation is in the past, but it's just complicated. From the 9 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles. I want to say she might get pregnant. If she does get pregnant, Papoose will not object to that. Yes, she has childhood trauma. There's a movie about her, and she spoke. It's actually public. Yes, because there is a I think Lifetime autobiography movie about her, and yes, there is childhood trauma, which is why I mentioned when I saw this, it made me think about the things that she's been through. And if she feel this is a feeling good, feeling great, life's great. I'm not gonna jump on. I'm just gonna read the situation, but I don't have any opinions. I didn't before, other than you know, style critiques. I see her improving, but there's still some improvements to be made. But other than that, I'm not going to rain on her parade because she deserves to feel this way. She does, everybody does. But when you overcome harsh things in life and you get to a point where you're able to feel like that, I ain't gonna participate in nobody trying to take that from her. I'm just here to spit facts. If she's pregnant, now I don't know if she has another deal in the works. This could be another deal in the works because she's already good money. From the 9 to the 10, this is generational wealth. So because Clarissa Shield is a world-class boxer, I suppose that's what they call them, she gonna continue to make money. I don't know if it's just in boxing or if she's diversifying, but she got more money coming. So this is great. All relationship aside, she got more money coming. And she might get pregnant. Possibly. Because the 9 of Pentacles could be a pregnancy card. 10 of Pentacles, definitely. You know. And I'm thinking this is just more money that solidifies her relationship with Papoose. But either way it goes, She's going to be making more money. For the time being, Papoose is all in because she's making good money, and so is he. If she ends up pregnant, Papoose will take the passive role, and it's not like he's going to be like, I told you not to get pregnant. He's going to, oh, yeah, baby, this is perfect, because she's making a lot of money. And if things go south and they're sorry, you guys, a phone call was coming through. So let me know if you can hear me now. Okay. Yeah, I was getting a phone call. All right. So crowning, you know, she really does not like the things that you guys say about her relationship because Clarissa has not had a happy life. Now, here we go about her childhood trauma. She did not have a happy life, which brings me to her present position. She's happy now. This is where the denial comes in because she's happy now. Doesn't matter if it started out messy, doesn't matter if it's still messy, she's going to overlook it because maybe for the first time, she's happy. And this isn't even emotionally happy, though. She's not emotionally fulfilled, but because she's in a better place than she was in her childhood and she has resources, the resources to keep a man around. Yeah. Yeah. The one thing she doesn't have, though, is the baby that she wants, because that'll tie him in, that'll lock him in. And that's what she wants to do. She wants to tie him in, lock him in. And I think it's because she fears Remy. Not saying she's scared of her in a physical way, but she's afraid of the influence that Remy has on him. Remy and him have a child. So Remy is always going to be a threat to her relationship in her mind. So she wants one. Imagine if she told Papoose, yeah, you can be my manager if you give me a baby. She's definitely trying. And this is either more money or more money and a baby. It's the only thing she doesn't have to lock him in. Because I think she thinks that he still could be up for grabs for Remy. Yes, Keisha, that's the logic. It doesn't matter if they both, yes, they'll both have that baby, the connection with the baby. And Papoose, with his soft ass, he would be looking at it like, shit, I always had that connection with her rich ass through the baby. Everybody is weird. This is the advice position, though. Spirit is saying, grow up. This is my grow up card. I just spoke to somebody about this in a consultation. The consultation that caused me to not do my members live. This came up for her, and I was mentioning, perfect. This is perfect time for you to have this consultation and nip this issue in the bud before spirit starts telling you it's time for it. You too big and too grown to still be having these problems because those are childhood, immature problems, and you're an adult. So you have to stop being so childlike and naive and be adult. Be an adult. This is in her advice position. So spirit is saying, snap out of it, Clarissa, and grow up because you are living through your childhood traumas. This situation is only ideal for you because of the unsavory early life that you had. And so you need to heal. Grow up isn't just grow up, it's heal too, so that you don't seek out situations or end up in situations where you have to overlook things just because it feels good. That's not a part of adulting. A part of adulting is facing the hard parts head on. I see the numbers getting low in the chat. Is there something wrong with the connection or is my sound going out? Somebody let me know you guys can still hear me and somebody's still here. Otherwise, I'll just assume, okay, Keisha, okay, then that's just people going away. That's fine. Three of Cups. Interesting. This is on the other side of this in the past position. Three of Cups, Three of Swords. It's still a messy situation. And yes, in my opinion, Remy Ma wants to insert herself in a way. She's playing. Remy Ma is pulling strings because she can. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. And this is messy because Remy Ma, you stepped out with your boyfriend first. So leave this man and his girlfriend alone. But this is I'm going to fuck with it because I can. I'm going to fuck with their situation because I can. When I want to be nice to Papoose and get him in his feelings and make him think I want him, I will. When I want to cuss him out, I will. Because I know all of that is going to be a nuisance in their situation. Remy Ma, everybody should just move on. Remy, move on. Papoose, move on. Or get back together. But this shit, it's petty. It's for kids. Hopes and fears, Clarissa. Clarissa. Her fear and hope is exactly what she's doing now the most to keep him. She is carrying this relationship. She almost has to smother him as to not give him any moment to breathe and think about leaving her. Like her telling her friend, I cook his food. I know what his food. I know what kind of food he like. I cook my man food. I'll speak up for him in his interviews. I get him money. I'll make sure he paid. I'll do this, doing everything you can to keep the situation. But it's also the fear. So she also fears having to continuously do that. This tells me one day she hopes that he loves her the way he loved Remy. But Clarissa, this gives me, I'll work my way to that love. Buy it, work it, whatever. Judgment. Now, these are the three parties, and this three party, and this three party. These guys are locked into a permanent situation. Papoose has tied himself into being her manager, and she would like to keep him there if that keeps him there. Papoose has a child with Remy, and that means she'll always be there. Clarissa is actively trying to get pregnant, and she might. So besides the contractual obligations her and Pap have as her manager, she could get pregnant this year because she wants to. Therefore, all of them locked in. That would be the judgment. All of you guys have to deal with each other forever. Permanent consequences. And if it's not through kids, Papoose got her tied into this business arrangement for some time. Somebody's trying to trap, and it's not the outward trap to where he isn't aware. He's aware, but look, she's trying to get pregnant because of this petty beef. It's not about wanting to start a family. It's about, child, this is crazy. To think, two of the people in this reading aren't they older than me? I'm just like, these is grown people that, looking at this from the spiritual perspective, this is physicotic. In the words of Jim Jones, Mama Jones, This is physicotic. It's physicotic and full of pumkash everywhere. That's why this is here for the advice. I'm annoyed. What sign is Clarissa? She isn't a water sign, is she? She gives strong Pisces. Strong delusional Pisces. Shout out to the Pisces that are not delusional. But that's the Piscean trait. Delusion, that's Piscean because it's Neptune. The gassy. The gases from Neptune make y'all delusional. Strong Pisces delusion. That's what she gives me. Is she a Pisces? Let me see. My sisters live in La La Land too, in a way. And both of them are Pisces. Clarissa Shields' birthday. March 17th. God damn it. I said it, and I motherfucking meant it. If I could guess it just like that, then that mean it got to be true. Y'all know why she gave me a strong Pisces? I said because of the delusion. Delusion. Now here she is the Queen of Cups. This cup could be a child she's nurturing or a new deal that Papoose benefits from. Child. That explains everything. The Pisces. That explains everything. This is a traumatized Pisces, so that makes her the unevolved, low vibrational Pisces. Y'all know who else romanticized being a baby mama? Erykah Badu. Strong Pisces. Y'all know who else? Jhené Aiko. The only way she could have Big Sean for life was through that baby, because he wouldn't marry her. Right? Ain't that what y'all say? Strong Pisces. That's what they be doing. Tamar Braxton, strong Pisces delusion. She gave Vince that baby for the check. She couldn't even easily had children. It wasn't just for the check, but yeah, you got to give a rich nigga a baby. You got to give a rich nigga a baby to keep a rich nigga. Because divorce, that happens. Oh, this is a shade to all the Pisces, but on y'all low vibrational side, the delusion. And it's just because y'all get emotionally attached to a reality. And Pisces are good manifestors because they believe that reality, and you have to make it real. But when the only problem is when the other person that you create that reality around isn't co-creating it with you, the best you can get is a baby. Meaning you manifested the forever that y'all be wanting in your reality that you created around the relationship that really is a mess. But because in your reality, it's not a mess. That's why they be manifesting babies, but not the commitment. Because they're not living in the same reality as the other person. But the person has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So you can make a baby in that reality, but not a marriage, not a commitment. Oh, listen, this man might be her baby daddy this year. If not that, then she's going to make him a lot of money this year. And that part, I believe, is true. She's going to make him a lot of money this year. She also might make him a baby. Look, there's the baby mama card. And beside the Clarissa card, there's the daddy. And that would probably make Remy Ma solidify the divorce if that happens. to punish him. Remy Ma enjoys being able to play this game of making Papoose not move forward with a divorce whenever she wants to play with his mind like a Gemini does. But if Clarissa has a baby, that in Remy's mind, I think that would kind of make her mind control not as effective because of the permanence of the situation. So playing with his mind won't matter if Clarissa gets pregnant and has his baby. She'll be his baby mama, and he'll have to give her that respect. And Remy Ma won't feel like not divorcing him holds any weight anymore. Like it does now, while them being married can still be used to taunt Clarissa. A baby don't make it as powerful. It doesn't make it as much as impactful as a taunt. Because Clarissa gonna say it doesn't matter. We both got his baby. And then Clarissa gonna say, and I'm making him more money than you ever made. She ain't gonna say that, but if I was Clarissa, I would. If I was in this dumbass situation, which I don't care if you had his last name, we under contract just like y'all was under contract. The only difference was both of y'all left that contract broke. I'm ain't. If I was dumb like this and I chose to be in this dumbass situation, bitch, y'all was in a legally binding partnership. We in a legally binding partnership. You got his baby. I got his baby. Only difference is one of the baby mamas got more money. If I'm going to choose to be in delusion, at least let me be a rich one. And that is the Clarissa Shields reading. If I'm going to be in this mess, at least let me be the rich one. And Papoose just sitting there like, huh? Both these women just, and he just in the middle, huh? Yeah, yeah. What she say? No, what she say? No, what she say? No, what she say? Oh, how do y'all even lay with such a spineless boy? Can't even call him a man. Oh, what she say? No, what you say? I don't know. Oh God. I told y'all he like alphas who don't mind a little spineless man. Whatever. More power to all them people. All right. So, in the spirit of love, how many of you guys are looking for love? In 2026, how many of you guys have relationships on your vision board? Put your hand in the chat if you do. I see a heart. It's not a hand, but it's a heart and a start. Okay, put your heart in the chat if you're hoping to manifest love or a loving relationship or just a new relationship. A lot of people, I kind of just wanted to see people for themselves. Sissy, I love love. I know you do. Okay. Okay, so since Keith said a lot of people and Sissy said her, it just never works out. You're young. You know, when you're in your 20s, there's a 50% chance that you will meet somebody and it will work out because you're still forming into the version of yourself that's going to be your foundation. And so you're still changing. People are still changing. You still got some programming in you that came from you being raised and reared and having your mind formed by your parents and your environment. You kind of gotta live a little to help you deprogram and come into your own version of how you want to be. So it's okay if it doesn't work out when you're in your 20s. You guys are still, as long as it doesn't work out because you are valuing yourself and kind of standing on whatever values you are forming for yourself, then you'll meet someone who matches those values and it'll be better that way. I asked that because, and I'm going to circle back to my situation. I said I was going to use Clarissa Shields as an example. I'll use my story that I started with and hers. Now, I'll say that I also wouldn't mind. I have not been in a relationship since my ex husband, not a serious one, not a committed relationship. And I've had two romantic partners since then, but that was from 2019 to 2026. And so, and one of those ain't last but a couple months. And he won't be punished for the rest of his life because he stood with Natasha, but punishment is in the in the fortunes for his future and his past. Natasha though will get poked forever, but that's another story. I tend to believe that if I don't find another, great love of my life, I have not lost or missed out on anything because I was fortunate enough to have a relationship and a marriage that was really good when we were equally yoked. And this is where I'm going with this. And I just want to send this message to those who are finding it hard to find love. That's because you're trying to partner with people that are on different vibrations or different paths. Even if you meet someone today and you guys hit it off and everything's going great for the next 6 months, typically before you guys met, you already were on a journey on your life. You had plans for yourself, where you wanted to go, where you wanted to be, and you usually are still working towards that. What's going to happen is you're going to continue to go towards where you are in life. And even though you may try to integrate somebody else into that picture, where you guys are both headed in life have to kind of be on the same wavelength, or else you'll outgrow each other and the problems will arise. And then typically couples say, okay, let's work through the problem. Let's try to work it out. And then you do. But then when it gets to the point where there are irreconcilable differences, it's in my opinion to separate, because that means that you guys are no longer on the same wavelength. And in those relationships where you try to force those relationships to work, where you can even feel you guys aren't on the same page anymore, you're going to end up, somebody's going to end up getting hurt. Then you get bitter with love. And so I think the way that we've been cohabiting with each other has been all wrong. And I think that the reason why I always get the justice card when people come to me for insight on their love life is because the justice card means adjustment. And I think we're in a season of adjustment. So right now, everybody is disillusioned with the world, the economy. Everybody's kind of been triggered into survival mode. And everybody is taking a moment to kind of look at and tear apart the structures that society has been built on. So you have all these think pieces and podcast topics about relationships and various dynamic of relationships between the people who get into relationships, and it's almost like no tradition or it is going uncritiqued, and that's actually a good thing because it's allowing us to see how we've been doing it, and it allows us to see if we've been doing it in a way that's genuinely true to ourselves or not. A lot of people are choosing to be single these days, and I actually think that's good too, because that hasn't really been a thing in recent history. We've been churning it. Actually, marriage is just starting. People are just starting to trickle into being okay with themselves. For the most part, marriage has been an expectation. For our parents and our grandparents, school wasn't even more of a priority than marriage, because my grandparents, I don't know how they might not have made it out of elementary school, but they were definitely starting families very early. My aunt, my mom's sister, she was 13 when she got pregnant with my first cousin, my oldest first cousin, and married at 14. And that's my aunt. She's still alive. She's still active. She got a young man too. So it doesn't have to be for everyone. And that's not what I'm getting at. I don't push anything. So give me a second. What I'm saying is, I said I think that for the first time in history, people are choosing to be single, and I think it's good, because in being single, people are finding out how to love themselves. And when you're full of love for yourself, you can attract healthy relationships. It's cliche, but with those boundaries, yes, you do filter out. You do spend less time dating seriously than you do dating seriously, but that's because you're dating per your values and your boundaries. So when you do end up coupled or partnered with somebody, it's because they didn't disrespect the boundaries that you set. They respect your personal boundaries, your personal values, and you respect theirs, which is a shared value. Even if they're not the same, the choice to respect someone's values and their boundaries, even if you don't agree with them, and still be with them. So, for those who are, I kind of just wanted to, as November approaches, because I thought about doing a group Venus ceremony. And I actually thought about doing one for myself tomorrow. But then my spirit said, do a vixen ceremony, not your usual Venus ceremony. Do your vixen ceremony for yourself. And I was like, say less, because I live in that kind of energy. And I have already come to the conclusion that it takes it takes a good man, Savannah, a strong man, Savannah, to date me, but I don't want anything less. I don't deserve anything less than what I value in a partner. And I also know that I'm valuable. So the type of partner that I would partner with would also be valuable. So I can't date often because I date value. I ain't talking about what the men consider themselves to be high value, because you got a cute little corporate job somewhere and you making 6, 7 figures. No, 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 no. You got to come with more value than that for a woman like me. Because Munyon is easy to make these days, especially with me on your team. I make niggas rich when they me, okay? And when they don't, I can make them rich if I choose to. Nevertheless, it's good when you date per your values, because you're more likely to attract someone that you don't have to break up with and won't bring you trauma. So I just actually want to get an oracle card and see what the divine energy surrounding partnerships is currently. I'm reading the energy surrounding, the collective energy surrounding partnerships and romance and love, and how it's hovering over us and interacting with us. I'll start with an oracle. Okay. Most High Mother and Father God, it's me, Dina. Y'all know I don't usually like to talk to y'all about these matters because I've long since got frustrated with my lack of love life and then got to the point of acceptance about why it is so. So I said I'll stop bothering y'all about it. Nevertheless, February is coming up, and the majority of the world, it's Valentine's Day. It's the season of love. Shout out to the Scorpios. I got so many Scorpios in my family because everybody, all my relatives like to hunch. And I'm talking about my grandparents and their kids. They the Scorpios and they had a lot of Scorpios. It's a lot of my aunts and uncles who are Scorpios. And yes, I told y'all about my grandma and how she was freaky until the day she died. So it's a lot of Scorpios in my family. Also a lot of Pisces, a lot of March birthdays, and a lot of Aquariuses. Thank you, April. You beat me to it. I was gonna say, now, why would you say that when I spend the majority of my time turning you men down? And I wouldn't want anybody who trolls in people's chat to even be interested in me because you out of your league. You got too much time on your hands to do foolishness. So that's why you wouldn't like a woman like me. Most High Mother and Father God, as the majority of the world is approaching Valentine's Day, the season of love, and many people are looking, some are finding, some are finding it hard to find something that they feel like is love or at least could lead to love. Love cannot be found, it has to be nurtured. Relationships have to be nurtured into love, in my opinion. Anything less is infatuation and romance, passion. Spirit, what is the collective energy surrounding those things? The energy of love and romance and partnerships in today's world. Is it conducive? Is the energy conducive to partnerships and partnering romantically? Have we already went through that season of adjusting and people are coming out of it? So now we're able to partner again? What does the divine have to say about the energy of partnerships, romantic partnerships, as it relates to humanity? The energy is gaining momentum. This is good. I think the adjustment period settled in and people are already coming out of it readjusted. That could be why you see a lot of celebrities coupling up now, entering relationships and things like that. Not even celebrities. A lot of people are getting married and engaged again. So the energy is after adjustments and a period of pause, the energy is starting to pick back up. Good news for you guys, not for me, but for you guys. Someone asked what a vixen ceremony was. I described it at the beginning of this live, but the vixen ceremony is one of my Venusian ceremonies, one of the ways to work with Venus, but it's not necessarily asking for romance or things like that. It is embodying Venusian energy for yourself. I call it the vixen ceremony. I used to call it like a goddess ceremony because it's kind of bringing out your inner dominant and attractive energy. It's kind of making you powerful. I work with the root chakra in this ceremony, but what I do is I take that energy from the root chakra and shoot it up to the crown and not just let it settle in the root so that you attract a bunch of sexual suitors and sexual partners and things like that. But I want to take that raw root chakra energy and shoot it up to your crown so that you kind of harness and become in full awareness and alignment with your most powerful, attractive, and dominant energy. It's like making you a goddess, a beautiful, powerful goddess, so that you don't just ask for love, you start attracting everything you want. It's a way to have your way. It's the ceremony to have your way. Because I don't like to just limit myself when I work with the spirits. I like to just say, bring all the good stuff. And I like to create ceremonies that serve multiple purposes. And so it's not just saying, bring me romance, it's saying, make me more attractive, bring me more attractability, make me more beautiful, make me more powerful, make me more of a dominant force when I walk into the room, make me more seen, make me more favored everywhere I go, make people who would usually tell me no, tell me yes, even turn my enemies into people who just can't help but fawn and adore me. It's like that. Let me have my way in the world. Let me get whatever I want. That's the vixen ceremony. Let me have my way and get whatever I want. To have that kind of confidence within you, you have to work with your root chakra. And so that's why I'm pulling it from there, but I want to place it in your crown. Because if you just work with the root chakra, then yes, you'll attract things like people who are sexually attracted to you, and you can turn that into love. But why stop there? Because I also I'm in a relationship business and real estate. So I don't just want to stop at making people sexually attracted to me and having romantic partnerships. I want business partnerships too. I want to pick up clients. So the vixen ceremony works for me in that way because I want it all. Give it all to me. So people are turning back towards love and partnerships, and that's great. Confidence is your key to success. I was just talking about the vixen ceremony, working with confidence for your root chakra and placing it in your crown so that you're in alignment with that energy. Y'all better, this ain't a group ceremony, the one I'm doing tomorrow, but I'm willing to include y'all if you want to when I do it for myself tomorrow. But this ain't a group ceremony, but y'all welcome to join. Confidence is your key to success. Now, ironically, this is a Leo card. The vixen ceremony is a very much solar energy, Leo energy, because the fifth house in astrology is ruled by Leo, and that's the house of sex, pleasure, fun, getting what you want, and having your way. Yes, Camila. I wanted to deliver this message off of Clarissa, and then I'll do what you ask. So after people went through a readjustment phase, people who are finding love are finding themselves more confident and self-aware than ever, and that's helping them find love. If you're not, that's what will help you. And not rushing it and not feeling like, okay, now I'm feeling confident, self-aware, let me start dating. It's not like that, because you'll still find yourself dating and going through that cycle of dating, not working out, dating, not working out. You that's fun if you enjoy the thrill of that. Um, but the idea is to find a suitable partner. And so you don't necessarily have to casual or habitually date to find a suitable partner. Typically, we come across one or two great loves in our lifetime. That means everybody else was just an experience. I'm not one to enjoy the experience of it all, not a habitual dater, which is why I spend more time out of relationships. But I got you, April. Have a good day. We got it from here. Confidence is your key to success, but the only way you can be fully confident and not just superficial confident is when you really know yourself and have come into yourself, and not just know yourself, but you actually like yourself and you love yourself. That's real confidence, not that play kind, bravado. Real confidence is when you spent time alone, you've been through the thick of it, you've cut yourself off from all of your coping mechanisms, dating, casual sex, all of the things that we do when we don't want to sit with ourselves. Cardi B said something in a live that I saw the other day. I didn't see the live, but I saw somebody commenting on it. And she mentioned not liking to be alone. because she said she starts thinking. When you have a problem not liking to be alone, because then you start getting in your head and it puts you in a bad mood, you don't like yourself fully. You don't like your choices. You don't like your actions. You don't like your life at that moment because sitting in silence with yourself makes you depressed. So you don't even like sitting with yourself. Coping mechanisms is constantly looking for someone else's energy boost to boost up your mood. That's not confidence. It's bravado, and it's a coping mechanism. Be bold and make the first move. There was a time of stoppage for the most part when people were saying, I don't want to be with anyone right now. I'm chilling. I'm by myself. I'm focused on myself. So nobody was being bold and making the first move for a while collectively. But the energy is picking back up because now people have kind of readjusted, gained some true healthy confidence, and we're seeing people choose. Not bravado, not ego. You can't find love out of ego. Aw, maybe I wasn't supposed to use Cardi B as a. I highly doubt she would see this channel, but that's Cardi B. That's the ego and unhealed bravado I was talking about. This would make me think silently somebody close to her or her herself might watch, because I wholeheartedly tend to believe that my platform is small and I'm not seen. But since this is on the bottom, either something about me using her as an example, or maybe her seeing this some kind of way, but how would she see me? Anyways, the energy is gaining momentum. And yes, I'm going to wrap this up quickly and then read Oprah. People are starting to come out of the disillusionment of the way we've been doing dating and relationships. We're seeing through the fog, the falsities, the way we've been kind of doing it wrong. And we're looking through, or no longer seeing things through rose-tinted glasses, getting out of the delusion, the Pisces delusion of it all. And for some time, people kind of stopped wanting to date. Backed off from that. People was just fucking each other, but not wanting anything serious, just run in there and run out, hit and quit. So while everybody was kind of disillusioned with love, it was still sex going on. But that's okay. Not sure. It's always going to be sex going on. Confidence is your key to success. I see relationships have been blocked. People finding suitable partners, it's kind of been blocked. And not just blocked, but people were choosing themselves. And more people were kind of focused on the bag, making money. Also, spirit, the energy was blocked because we've been immaturely, foolishly, the fool in reverse, foolishly dating when we don't really know ourselves. We had to start learning ourselves, studying ourselves. So going within and studying ourselves. While people were doing that, we still got to make money. So we focused on money and ways to empower ourselves. That is the foundation that you have to be on to be confident enough to attract a healthy relationship. The foundation has to be you and your values that you won't budge on. Because, you know, we do a lot of compromising in relationships, and that's not healthy because we compromise ourselves out of growth. We sacrifice our personal growth for shared experiences with someone else. So Spirit said, how about no? Because humanity has to evolve. And if you guys are sacrificing your evolution just to stay with someone, because you guys are evolving out of each other, but based on the way you guys do relationships, you got to fight. You guys going to fight yourself into trauma that's going to force you to want to take a break. And that's good. All right, be bold and make the first move. This will be limited options. People singling themselves off single despite a sea of options, but the Empress. Now that's a personal message to me because of, anyways, I'll just leave that out of that. I personally have kind of secluded myself off from the idea of being in another relationship, and that's not because I don't want one anymore. And now I'm just telling my tea because the spirit ended it with giving me a message with that. Be bold and make the first move. I personally, fun fact, lost all of, I want to say, the confidence that I used to have in being bold when I was younger. Before divorce, it was easier for me to attract suitors because I hadn't been through that rejection of divorce. And that, I want to say, because maybe it's still, there might still be something in me that I have intentionally kind of closed myself off from the idea of someone honoring me the way I feel like I should, because I had chosen to close myself off so that I could heal. I had a lot of childhood trauma, and a lot of that got triggered in my divorce. And I took a step back because I was so numb. I couldn't think about dating. I couldn't think about anything for that moment other than survival. And so once I came out of survival mode and then I start valuing myself, I start feeling like I still am, I'm not going to be able to date because no one's going to see my value as something that they want to actually, never mind. I just felt like I might have outvalued myself out of today's market. It's not me, it's you guys. That's how I felt. And so, yeah, be bold and make the first move. That was a little side message to me because I felt like I kind of valued myself out of the market. What? Thinking that I'm too good for these people's sons? Of course I won't stop thinking that. For a long time, I did feel like, I felt like I did. I felt like I was broken goods. I felt like no one. I felt unlovable. I was like, how could be bold? No, you guys, I've changed that. It's not low self-esteem. It's healthy self-esteem. But now I just feel like, who deserves me? Yes, that I won't be valued the way I deserve. Yes. And so I've kind of stopped even thinking about dating. So that's why the be bold and make the first move was there in reverse for me, because I don't approach people. I don't even, women have a way of showing men that they're interested in him. Our little coy way. I don't even do that no more. I literally am one-minded. So yeah, but protect and provide for me. To hundreds of people, and in my line of work, it's probably been thousands by now. I am the protection and the provision. That's noble, though. That's really sweet. Provide what? What? When men say, who's going to protect and provide for you? What do you mean by that? Just curious. Because you'd have to know if I need protection or what kind of provision I need. Well, what do I think? I don't know. That's why I asked you. Like money, monetary, and physical protection? I believe in partnerships. And this is why I said I have a hard time dating because it takes a certain kind of man. If you think that by who's going to protect and provide for me, you mean make sure that I have a roof over my head and buy me things and stand up for me if somebody says something bad about me somewhere, I don't need a man for that. Not saying I don't appreciate those qualities and characteristics in a man, but that's not my idea of what I would partner with someone for just because I need money or someone to defend me. Provisions that I need now come along. I'm close to 40. So do I want someone now, Camila? Like, am I actively hoping to meet someone? I don't think that much about it. But if it's how am I making it complicated and you still haven't said what you mean by protecting and providing? As a man, you need to tell me what you mean by protecting and providing. Providing what? What are you willing? What are you? I can't answer it if I don't know what you're talking about. I think you are just simple. Goodbye. Would I like someone like myself, but the male version of me? The male version of me? Like my daddy? Hell no. No, I get what you mean though. So I get what you're saying, but now I'm a little bit bashful because I'm on the spot now. You guys, stop. The male version of me? Fuck no. I say that any man who dates me have to be initiated. Not saying that you have to be a babalawo, but you have to be a little bit more wise than the average bear. Would I welcome new company? Yes. I am just a girl. Yeah, it's been almost 2 years now. Hells yeah. But to be honest, I have lost a little bit of my confidence that I used to have. So, for instance, I used to not look for anyone, but expect. And even though I still do more turning down than I do anything else now it's just because everybody's so ugly. I done start attracting ugly people. I'm sorry, I have to be honest. I'm a Libra, so we can be a little shallow. And my first husband, I did not marry him for his looks. He was 360 pounds when we divorced, but he's always been over 300 pounds. So I didn't marry for looks or sex or any of that thing. And so now in my grown years, no, stop playing with me. No, I got to like what I love. No, no. I like I want what I want and I want what I want. I'm not doing that compromising shit that y'all use. I've been there, done that. A lot of guys I think are unattractive that approach me nowadays, or they're white, very wealthy, but white. That's the era I'm in now, the rich white man era. Very well off, very well off. And when they approach me, it's not even asking for my number. They're stepping. They're asking to treat me just so they can go on a date with me. No, But the black man that I'm actually interested in, I, they don't. I don't know. I don't know. And my family says it's because I haven't really been outside much. I've been in hermit mode for some years. I work very hard. I work a lot. I'm in the service business, so I don't know. But would I be open to someone if I was interested? Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just haven't. These girls are easy. I'm not. I'm just not easy. The last man, black man that asked me for my phone number in the gas station, I'm so used to saying no. So I thought, let me say yes for a change. I didn't think it wasn't for any other reason than the fact that I heard my cousin's voice in my ear saying the reason why you don't da 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 is because you turn everybody down. So I was like, just so I could tell her that I said yes, let me say yes. So I gave him my phone number, and I think on our way out, I said, all right. Oh, yeah, he said, I'm looking forward to getting to know you. So I said, okay, good luck. I didn't even think of it like that. But he was like, good luck. Oh, I got to compete for you? I got to compete other men for you? Mm-mm, I ain't competing for nobody. And I was sitting there, I was puzzled because he said, I'm looking forward to getting to know you. And I said, good luck. That means good luck getting to know me. And I only said that because I'm a different girl from what most men approach. My conversations are different, my hobbies are different. So good luck. It wasn't nothing about competition, but he just showed himself unqualified before we can make it out of the gas station. Because I was like, first of all, you way too weak for me. If the first thing in your mind was, oh man, I gotta compete. Oh man, let me just back down. You already ain't man enough. Because you don't have to compete, but everywhere I go, I'm gonna get attention and you're gonna be feeling away. And that's gonna get on my nerves because I'm gonna tell you to get out your feelings. And then you're gonna be mad at me for not being more girly girly when I talk to you, when I tell you, get out your fucking feelings. You mad for real? And I laugh at everything first. So see, now Big G, even though I wasn't talking about competing against other men, I'd have been like, I like that. I like that. Even if I was talking about other competing with other men, I'm single and you just met me in a gas station, so you should assume that there's somebody you might have to compete with. I don't want nobody already feeling weak and cowardly because I wouldn't let you compete. And that's the thing. You step right, you wouldn't have to compete. I'm gonna let everybody else know. Goodbye. Okay, let's check in on Okra because Camila's still here. Y'all not used to real women. I don't make no man compete. That's childish and immature. Not even if I'm single. If I'm talking to somebody and talking to several somebodies, that mean ain't none of them competition for the other. If I'm talking to several somebodies, ain't none of y'all competing. All of y'all in the same position. When they get cut off, that mean competition came in and I didn't want him to have to compete because he stepped. Yeah. Yeah, I don't make men compete for things like that. I don't play childish games. I don't play little girl games. Because I don't have the pH to be sharing with everybody anyway, so I'm not screwing everybody. Yeah, I'm not one of them either. All right. Oprah. Oprah Winfrey. Camila, did you want to check in on her because she been quiet or did something happen? Oprah Winfrey. Oh, she finna have a birthday. Camila, are you Oprah? Trying to get a free birthday reading consultation? Camila, let me find out. Let me find out that Oprah done made a faux page so that she can be a busted baby in the bushes, but not in the bushes. Right, all them billions and you trying to get free tea? Come on, man. Oprah got a birthday coming up this month. Camila, is you her daughter? Is you, let me find out. Is you supposed to be her psychic? And you here? Just checking. Just checking. Is you that white lady who got called out for stealing and now made a fake page to get the tea? Oh, your birthday coming up too? Camila, I don't know. Once I saw that you've been asking for Oprah and she got a birthday coming up, I don't know. Me wonders. Me wonders. Who are you? Who goes there? I'm kidding. Makes you laugh being seen, doesn't it? All right, Oprah. Y'all shout out Oprah in the chat. Go ahead, tell her what you want, y'all. Mrs. Claus is in the chat. Put y'all desires in there. She got it. Now, don't try to on February 16th now. Listen, Oprah on the main line. Y'all better tell her what she wants. Tell her what y'all want. Put what you want in the chat, y'all. You get what you want. You get what you want. Everybody gets what they want. Tell Oprah, I mean Camila, what y'all want. Ooh, y'all is funny. Unless it's true. All right. Oprah Winfrey. What's her middle name? Y'all know I like a middle name. I never knew Oprah had siblings. Camila, why you didn't tell me? Camila, are you Patricia? You said you ain't Oprah, but she got a sibling named Patricia. Camila? Camila, is you Patricia? Yes! Listen, you ain't gotta say nothing. Just keep laughing. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I ain't gonna dox you no more. Did y'all know Oprah has siblings? Patricia, Jeffrey. Wait, Patricia Lofton, Jeffrey, and then Patricia Lee Boyd. So it's two Patricias. Which one of the Tricias you is? Is it Patricia Lofton or Lloyd? Lofton or Lloyd? Well, let's ask her about him. She in the chat. Why you don't talk? Well, Patricia, what's up with you and Oprah? Why she don't talk about y'all? She don't want nobody to know she got any kind of family. Now that's interesting because I didn't know. Partner Stedman Graham. If they don't put Gail up there, Gail is more partner than Stedman ever has been. Ain't that right, Trisha? Because I know y'all be keying you, other Patricia, and Jeffrey. I know y'all be keying in the siblings group chat about Oprah and Gail. I know y'all do. Current energy on her. You is. Ooh, Camila, listen. Don't make me read you and see who you is. Offline, though. Tell my do her current energy because she ain't talked to y'all in a long time. You tell me, Camila, what is the family tea? What's going on in the family group chats? What is the word? What y'all what? Stedman unpacked this shit and saying he done. Gail says she don't want to live a lie no more and she ready to come out. And y'all just kikiing and you want me to confirm it? Girl, tell us. Camila. Ain't no probably. Girl, tell us. Is you in the members' lives? Is you a member? I'm about to give you a membership, Patricia. I mean, Camila. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you know what, Camila? I'm finna put you on the spot since you, Patricia, you typically be asking for the celebrities. And it be strange ones too. Jamie Foxx, it be the ones that ain't doing nothing. Only someone in the know would want to know. Listen. All right. All right. I ain't gonna press it no more right now, but I figured. I figured. I figured you was somewhere close. Yeah. I can smell the stench on you. I know I'm not. You want to know how I know? I didn't know if it was you specifically. I just been playing with you, but I know it's a couple people in here. Um, anyways, let me just leave my mouth shut so I can protect those who don't deserve, but I choose to give them protection. All right, Camila. I'll get off of it. All right, let's Oprah. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to construct the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Oprah. Did Oprah just recently have some work done? How old is she about to turn? She's 71 now, so she about to be 72. Born in 54. Okay. Did she just recently have some work done? Thank you, Camila. Anybody know she just recently had some work done? A little nip tuck. Anyways, that's what I saw when I closed my eyes. I saw actually not her surgery, but her like feeling good about the way it turned out. Something about the way she looks, I think she's enjoying her face. In my mind, I see her like looking into a mirror, checking out, yes, Dr. Such and Such did such a wonderful job. Oh my God, oh yes, just put the youth right back in. That's me trying to imitate Oprah. Ain't that how she talks? All right. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Oprah Rochelle. That ain't her middle name, but I want it to be. What is Oprah's middle name? Oprah Winfrey. Middle name. She might not have one. Some old school people like that didn't have. Gail. I know you lying. I know you motherfucking lying. I know you motherfucking lying. Oprah Gail Winfrey. That's what good googly moogly says. Oprah Gail. Child. This is a soulmate connection if I ever seen one. Past lives. In another world, in another time, they were able to be together. Oh, no. In another world, in another time, they couldn't be together. So they came out and tried to do it again and reincarnate in a world where they could be. Ironically chose the privacy that they've always known in previous incarnation. Why did she changed her name so Oprah Gail wasn't her real name? Named after a biblical character in Ruth, Oprah, Orpah. Her name, she just moved the letters around. Named after a biblical character in Ruth, Orpah. Her name was mispronounced and she became Oprah. Now, Patricia, you could have told us that. My goodness. When Oprah was 14, she became pregnant, but her son was born prematurely and died shortly after birth. Mm. You know, that's what they used to say back then when the child got pregnant young and they take the baby on down to the Carolinas or the backwoods of Georgia somewhere to be raised by the long distant relative. See, now I know why her sister Patricia, I mean Camila, want me to expose her so bad because Camila, did you end up raising the baby? Hello in Romania. Camila, is you married to the Camila? Is you the wife of Oprah's long lost son? Oh my God. Not Gail from a fake You're not Gail either. Okay, just checking. Camila, I'm gonna figure it out. The burden of proof is upon me to figure out, and I shall. All right. Orpah. Oh, Orpah. Orpah. Oprah Winfrey, formerly known as Orpah. Never gonna call her Okra or Oprah again. Gonna call you what your mama named you. Oprah Winfrey. Spirit, please allow me to see what's going on in the life, spirit, and collective energy of Oprah Winfrey currently. Please compel her to speak her soul's truth and keep absolutely nothing hidden from me. Oprah, what's going on, honey? What's going on in your life besides a rejuvenation in your face, maybe? Chris's doctor gave me the best facial surgery. Chris isn't going to be the only one looking 20 years younger. She did have work done, Keisha. She did. She did for real? Child. I don't think she likes what her good Judy is going through right now. It's not looking good for the Golden Girls. You know, Orpah, Gail, Tyler. Throw them in at a Beyonce concert. They the Golden Girls, in my opinion. I would love to listen in on their phone calls. Tyler being the young one, but he still matched their energy because he Medea at heart. In the group chat, I feel like everybody be typing stuff with misspelled words because, you know, old people don't know how to type, text, none of that. A whole bunch of just eyeglasses pushed down to the nose and okay, a bunch of that. But I bet they be funny. I bet they be funny as hell. Misspelled and all, but I bet they be Ooh, reading girls down, throwing so much shade. I can just see it. So much shade when the three of them Golden Girls get together. I'm here for it. The last time I looked into Tyler Perry's last situation, I saw Okra. Oh, I'm sorry, Orpah. Not liking this, Terry. This isn't good for us. This isn't good for you, but I mean, it's not good for any of us. Call me back. You gotta fix this. Remember, because I said Gail, I actually pretended as if I was Gail on Tyler's voice machine saying that Oprah was having a meltdown because of his shenanigans and that he needed to fix it because Gail was having a meltdown because Orpah. I don't know. I just keep stress eating bread and stress eating bread and more bread and my soul cycle isn't working and none of it's working. I just keep depressed eating more bread and more bread. Tyler, I can't. My carbs, my weight, I just got this done. I can't handle the stress eating. You gotta fix it. This is Tyler. Now I don't know why his situations keep affecting her, but I think this is Tyler's situation. Associations. And yes, she put him on. They're like partners of some sort. Maybe their business is commingled. So bad business for him means bad business for her. Do they have any shows together? She put him on. She walked him into rooms, walked him into some of those positions of authority he has. I wanted to say walked him right into BET. I think she did that too. She's like his fairy godmother. That's what I want to call her, his fairy godmother, Orpah. You know what? I think Oprah had a lot of associations with people who have gotten exposed for having indulgences or outright criminal activity. The thing, though, is that she sits in the midst of them and in front of all of their dirty deeds. She is like his fairy godmother, but in her past, she's more like a madam, but who doesn't just stop at organizing sex for girls she's like a celebrity madam. Men, women, you want deals, you want sex, you want this, you want that. She's like the plug of all the vices. Not saying the plug, one of them. Of course, Hollywood has many monsters who gatekeep the vices. You know, she reminds me of a person who likes to do unto others what was done unto her. This makes me think of this. Mm. I think some of the horrible things that was done to her throughout her childhood and maybe even along the way of her career, she might have turned around and found some form of satisfaction or fulfillment in them or dishing them out to others, which would make her the perfect plug or the perfect maestro. That's the word that flies around in my mind, maestro. Tyler's denial. You know, Tyler can't keep his little flings and things and twinks under control. Yep, that's what I think she is. I also think that she knows how to clean things up. Tyler is still new to the game. Whatever he learned, I think he learned from Oprah, but she can still come in and maybe clean things up, or maybe she usually can. Has she been seen recently with him, with Tyler Perry? Look, the Golden Girls, right here in the so below. Tyler, Oprah, Gail. They are a little weird clique. They're a Hollywood clique of maestros. I can't even say gatekeepers because Gail, the only gatekeeper. Tyler is a new gatekeeper in training, and Gail, she's the jester. They give me maestros though. I don't know why I want to use the word maestro, but they keep the charade going, keep the circus going, the whole. I'm looking for my charger. I'm sorry, and I don't think it's in here, and that sucks because my phone is dying. Let me, yeah, whatever. I'll just have to wrap this up quick. Their little group, they give me. They've all been a part of a bunch of the debauchery in Hollywood and even facilitated. Keep it going, spread it around, make sure others are doing it too, so that they can keep control over the lessers by keeping them involved in the debauchery and then using it over them. That's how they keep power. They help facilitate the debauchery and then use it over your head. Oprah, are you still planning on moving, or are you still thinking about it? I think Oprah is still trying to travel somewhere, move somewhere. Have her schools been all the way closed down, or are they still open? Because I was the outcome makes it looks like she still gets money from that school or doing what that school did. It's still open. I see school fees for 2025. You know what? This is the overseas stuff, the moving I thought I saw. Because of what's going on in Hollywood, that's why she's been quiet. Ain't been able to move around like she used to, not with the great reckoning in Hollywood, but over in Africa at that school, that's saving her. The money she's making from the school is saving her. Hollywood is getting sticky. And here's something about the girls who went missing and never were seen again. Allegedly, in my opinion, because I talked about this before and what it's in my opinion they do at that school. Not all girls, especially these days, are being sold or against their will. Nowadays, these girls are looking to get matched. But I think there's still some celery going on at that school. Not talking about the vegetable, but you'll figure it out. Because of what's going on in Hollywood, especially as close as one of her good Judies, she's got to lay low. She's too close to him. She's too close to Harvey. She's been too close to this person, Naomi, Diddy. She's been too close. So she's had to lay low while all of her friends are falling out in case she gets implicated. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point she does move out of the U.S. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets some sort of home in Africa to where she can spend a lot of her time there to work on her school. But she'll be trying to get the fuck up out of here. I wouldn't be surprised. And I think she's been trying, but maybe have had some delays with doing that. But she still has her school and the things that they do as her bread and butter since Hollywood is falling. All right, gotta go because my battery is dying. Love y'all. See you later. Bye. Angelina Jolie? Sure. When I come back, I'll do Angelina Jolie. Bye, Patricia.